shit. It's live.
Is that going? Is this thing on?
All right.
Alright, let's see.
Wow, Tom.
Yeah, so here we are, huh?
Yeah.
Time to roll. Okay, well.
You know what we're talking about today, Tom?
What's that?
Keegan, are we ready to rock?
Yeah. Anyway,
Welcome to the planning and production stage
This
of
is
the
why
T-Talk Tech.
it's like the R&D zone,
I
Tom.
tell you, do you want to talk about a backdoor look, backdoor access?
You love talking about backdoors, Tom.
Well, being in Advanced System Solutions, stand behind our name.
Always do.
Yeah.
Always do.
Yeah.
I can really get behind the ASCII name.
That's right.
Yeah.
So well, I hauled ass over here today. So
Yeah,
hey,
assy hauled
wow,
ass.
look at that. So what are we talking about today?
Well, Tom, it's a very special edition of the T Squared Tech Talk podcast, and I want you to take a look around the room, if you would, my friend. What do you see?
I see a few more monitors than normal, and yeah, I'm feeling a little. You ever feel like somebody's watching you?
I do, and I was giddy as a schoolgirl.
Advanced System Solutions.
And let me tell you why. I got to bring in more Mac devices into this On Target podcasting studio.
That's fantastic. That's
And
like a kid with more crayons.
it's a lot like that.
Yeah.
Expensive crayons,
Yeah.
great toys. And we're doing something very special today on the show. Something that I've wanted to do for months, Tom. We're not sacrificing any goats or anything like that. We're not getting crazy.
Oh,
But what
okay.
we
Well,
are
I'll
doing-
put my camera away then.
Please do. What we are doing today, this is new, this is exciting, Tom. We're using our Macs, which is, I know you're a big fan of. We're actually live streaming this particular podcast today on our Facebook page.
Well, fantastic.
Yeah.
I welcome to all our viewers to the inside of
There
what's
we are,
going
yeah.
on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Keegan's in the house.
Hey everybody. So yeah, it's fantastic. I tell you, it's leaps and bounds. It's like the kid with 128 crayons. Remember that big box?
Yeah, the super
Sharpener
box.
on the side.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And your hair looks
Exactly.
great today for camera, man.
Yeah. Well, I should have worn a suit or something. I feel like way underdressed, but
You could have worn that tuxedo t-shirt you have.
Yeah, I could have finally had the excuse to dress up and wear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would have looked sharp,
Yeah,
man.
well, next time.
Shoulda,
Next
woulda,
time.
coulda. Am I right?
Hindsight's 2020.
So I am so excited. You know what we're talking about today, Tom?
What's that?
It's no one likes to talk about it.
And that would be?
Software updates, Tom.
Oh, you're right. Nobody
They
does
hate
like
it.
to talk about it.
No,
You're
they
right.
hate it.
Yeah.
It's annoying, and you're on your PC, and all of a sudden, well, it crashes. You get a blue screen of death, which you're going to correct me. It's not the blue screen of death anymore, Tom.
It's not. You know what I heard it reference to now? This is great. Because it's usually the blue screen with the white balls that are floating around.
You had white balls.
Yeah, that's right. So one of our clients, Bonnie out there, hello Bonnie.
Hey, Bonnie, what's up?
She said, "Oh, those are the floating golf balls of death."
Oh yeah, the floating golf balls.
So now that's permanently what I'll always see when I see those little white balls spinning around. Is
You like the white balls, don't you,
You
Tom?
got the color wheel,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken, the color wheel of death.
Well, the Mac can let you pick and choose from the chooser of a wide variety of colors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
There
you
we
can color
go.
your balls all day, Tom.
Oh, there we go. Well, I
You
tell
got,
you,
you got blue balls, you got red balls, you
Oh,
can
well.
you can even have yellow balls.
I tell you, talk about it going down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, it is a ball extravaganza is what it is,
Yeah,
Tom.
well, I got nothing.
Well, Tom, software updates, my friend.
It is a good topic, and I got to tell you my take on it because I had some experience with it this week.
I heard that.
Yeah, there was two people this week who unfortunately clicked on things that weren't the right thing to be clicking on.
Sure. Clicky McClicky pants.
That's exactly who we reference when we
Right.
talk about those people. So we had two of those this week that
Clowns.
it throws a little bit of chaos into the day in the
Yeah.
IT world, but that's all right. That's what we're here for. But the point being is that even with Macs, as you know, this week it was announced that there was an Adobe Acrobat update
Huh.
that was available.
And this just affected Macs? Is this what you're saying?
Oh,
Tom? Are
well,
these the allegations you're bringing to the table?
I was, as I said, I couldn't wait to race home and get that posted on social media
Sure.
just to tag you and say, wanted to make sure everybody's aware. It's
And
not
what
just PCs.
And what was my reply to that, Tom?
Yeah, right. That must have been a Microsoft ad. And yeah, spot on. But you know what I thought? There's
What?
no way they would do that.
There's no way a Mac could get
what
infected,
Apple, user is going to ever click on a Microsoft ad.
You're damn right. That's a
See?
they're trying to convert us, Tom, but
Yeah.
it's just not going to
Failure.
work.
Hashtag fail.
Yeah, all
Yep.
damn day.
Yep. So, but how they got the people on the Macs is the same way that they get people on PCs all the time.
Right.
And it's that pop-up that says that an update is now available.
Right.
And so people click or they think, you know what, now is a good time. I'm going to go to lunch. I can start this now and
Sure.
I can walk away.
I'd go take Aunt Edna for a walk.
Exactly.
Maybe Aunt Bob goes for a stroll in his
See?
high heels.
Yep. And with this beautiful weather we've
Sure.
been having down here, it's a good excuse to get out.
Yeah.
So they think they have an opportune time to run the update that just popped up on the screen. But meanwhile, it's not really the software. It's not really Adobe Acrobat. It's not your antivirus or whatever it is that's wanting to run a scan.
It's a wolf in sheep's clothing, Tom.
It is. It's a wolf in sheep's clothing, and it's a nefarious.
There it
person.
is. There's the word.
I had to get to it some way,
Good job,
shape, or
man.
form.
You make me proud every
You
day.
know? I strive hard to do that. It's
Yeah,
a
except for
high
that
bar you have.
damn T-shirt you're wearing, sir.
Yeah. Well.
And I think some people on our Facebook Live page could probably see what that shirt says.
Yeah, well.
I find it offensive.
Yeah. Well.
Actually.
That's exactly why I wore it
I
today,
figured.
Tom.
Yeah.
Yep. We got to thank the folks at Leading Age for this shirt.
And what does your shirt say for the people who can't see us on the magic of Mac TV?
I tell you, it says it doesn't take a genius bar.
Uh-huh.
And point being, the people at Leading Age were rolling out a new CRM for all of their members, and the portal would allow the members to log in. So at their annual conference, they had the "It doesn't take a genius" bar
Sure.
to show everybody how they could use the portal. It really was a genius idea. So credit to Shannon and Lauren and Craig.
Haters.
Not
All
this
haters.
Craig.
All
Yeah.
haters of the Apple.
Oh no, they were all Apple fans.
I hope so,
Huge
Tom.
Apple fans. They were the creative side. Are you kidding me? Of course
And
they
you were
were.
brave to wear that shirt, though.
Yeah, well, you
Yeah.
can see it hasn't had a lot of wear over the last few years that I've owned it, but by gosh, I saw it in the drawer the other day and I said, I know exactly when the next time I'm wearing that shirt.
Always digging around in
Here
your
we
drawers,
are.
Tom. Always in
You
your
know,
drawers.
it's either there or the sack. It's one of the two. I'm always
Or playing with your
white.
white balls.
There you go. You know,
So
exactly.
software updates can be ugly, Tom. Is that what you're saying? This is the conclusion you're drawing.
The conclusion I'm drawing is if you don't do it properly, and you don't do it with intent,
Right.
then you could really be getting into problems when something pops up and says it's time to run a scan.
Yeah.
A great idea would be restart the computer. I don't care if it's a Mac or a PC, just restart it and take it from there. Then you run your scan.
And if it's a PC when you restart it, then you can take Uncle and Aunt Bob for a walk for 6 miles.
There you go.
You could take the dog out.
Say, make yourself a pot of coffee.
You could do that. You could clean out all that schmutz that the in-laws
Yeah.
leave in the couch. You know all the crumbs
I
from the
do.
Metamucil and all that. It's
Yeah.
all in there. So clean that out.
Yeah.
You know, an hour later you can come back and maybe the PC is on its way to the Windows.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, wait, unless you're Ian, greetings to another listener of ours, Ian, who just got a new computer this week.
A shiny new computer?
A shiny new Dell.
Why did he
Tom.
get a Dell,
He got
Tom?
a Dell because I was
Wait
going to
a
go
minute.
for an Adele
Wait a
joke
minute.
there, and I'm steering clear.
So, Mr. Ian was just recently in these facilities with the nice.
The other Ian.
Oh, another Ian.
The other Ian.
I apologize
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I know Ian's with good taste.
Yeah.
So he had a great Mac that he was showing off to me.
Well, Ian, I know you have great taste, and I know that you have great taste in that new Dell that you purchased.
To each his own, Tom.
That's right, but it has an SSD in it. And boy, Ian was quite surprised at how quickly it
Did you
booted
get
up.
your hands on his SSD, Tom?
I tell you, I would say I got my hands dirty, but it was awfully sharp. It was easy sailing with that one.
So once you've restarted your eternal boot up cycle on
That's
your
right.
PC,
Now it's time.
now it's time. Now it's time for what, Tom? What happens next?
Well, either A or B. Is that pop-up that came up saying it's time to run a scan, is it still there?
Uh-huh.
Because the odds are it's probably a fake website
Right.
popping up some sort of an ad to let you know that that it's time to run these updates. But as I tell a lot of my clients, if you're on the web and it pops up that it's time to run a scan, restart the computer, go back to the web page that you were on, and if it comes up the same thing, well, perhaps it's time to think about that. But the odds are it won't. It's oftentimes when we mistype facebook.com, Then we redirect it to a page.
I've seen that.
comes up-
Yeah.
Yep.
You
that
fat
comes-
finger something, and boom,
It's-
it's a spoof site. It's infected, and you don't know the difference unless you got your eyes glued on that URL on the
That's
screen.
exactly it.
You click it, and guess who's on the other end of that, Tom?
Those nefarious characters,
From
either Mom's Basement or...
Kerspakistan.
That's right.
They're
what
back
a stand.
at it again. This guy Mike Smith from Kerspakistan keeps calling me.
Yeah.
He doesn't sound like a Mike Smith, Tom. I'm a little bit suspicious.
Yes, it's funny how that works out, isn't
Yeah.
it? Or
Yeah.
Bob Jones, but
Yeah.
with a very heavy accent. And,
Yeah, very thick.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
thick.
And a connection that is delayed. You can tell it's probably from another country.
It sounds like he's in a stable with a bunch of cows and maybe a coffee maker.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I've heard
Or
this.
at least 30 other agents
Sure.
speaking the same
Yeah,
language.
30 other Mike
Yeah,
Smiths. Am I
exactly.
right?
And you hear the same thing from the one next door. But
So what's going on here, though, is these crooks, these nefarious types that Tom loves to refer to, they may be in Kerspakistan. They could be working out of Milwaukee, for all we know, Tom.
That's right.
They could be in Maitland, Florida, right here.
Right around the corner.
And what they're trying to do is to spoof and trick you, whether you're a business owner, whether you're at home with the kids, doing some Googling. They're trying to get you to click and install something malicious that's going to take over, God forbid, your computer. And Tom, what do they do after they have control?
Well, the problem is it's a countless list of what they do. It could be ranged from anything like this week we saw where it was continually popping up ads for someone, and that's what it was. Another person it released some malware on their computer, but I'm trying not to get too, that whole attorney-client privilege.
Oh,
We
sure,
don't want to give
sure.
away too much.
Yeah, don't spill the beans there, Tom.
But, and so my wife said to me, this is great, well, I thought you had them protected to where they can't do that. Well, we do. We have protections in place, and we can do everything we want or can do within budget. But the problem is that if a person clicks on something,
Yeah.
everything else is for naught. If you give something permission, there's
You're right.
only so much we can do.
So this is an execution thing.
Yeah.
More often than not, it's not to nerd out too much, but it can be
Yeah.
a JavaScript function where you just double click that sucker, and you just said, hey, Tom gives you permission to rip me off and
Yep.
steal my files and
Yep.
ship me off to Kerspakistan.
That's exactly it. And the problem is that, it could put a keylogger, as you well know, on the system.
Right.
So now it's going to keep track of everything that you're typing in
Right.
as you go along. And it really, it's just a huge pain that these people do this. So it's important that if you are going to do the updates, set aside a time. That if you decide that you have time now, great. Restart the computer. Go in to do your updates either via the Mac or the PC and the respective things that you have in place. We won't get too technical in the steps to go into how to do the updates, but no,
Yeah.
do that. And then if Adobe Acrobat popped up that it needed an update, maybe open up Adobe Acrobat and go to Help and see if there's any updates available.
So really, the bottom line is don't trust these pop-ups that may come up, especially when you're online. So if you've got, God forbid, Internet Exploder open up,
Amen.
is that still a thing, Tom? The IE,
It is.
Yeah, what do they call it now? Like Air or something?
Well, no,
something?
they were moving to Edge,
Edge,
but
oh,
nobody
they're
was
so
building.
edgy.
Nobody was building the websites to be
On Microsoft
functional with Edge.
I get it.
So you would go. I had it happen to me today. I went to download a file and it said this file type is unknown. All I'm trying to do is download the thing, but the website wouldn't display it.
Right,
So
because it's Microsoft.
I had to download Chrome.
Right.
And then it would work. So now what Microsoft is doing is they're retooling Edge to get rid of the functionality from the Edge browser, and they're going to pull in Chrome and rebrand it as Edge, but it will be
Yeah,
the Chrome
this is what
background.
happens when you screw up a paper bag, Tom. You got to rely on someone else's software, right?
Yeah, well,
pretty much.
They all go back and forth with their theft of software, aren't they? And ladies and gentlemen, what Tom's trying to do is bait me into this, but I'm going to take
Far
the
be
high
it from
road.
me, sir. I'm trying to get Tom to say Microsoft sucks, and he just someday he'll proudly admit to it.
Never, because Microsoft has put food on the plates of my children for many, many, many
Because
years.
it sucks.
That's well,
Yeah, oh,
because
what?
because Tom almost came
So close.
there.
So close, folks.
Yep. He's trying, ladies and gentlemen, but no, it's I gotta say, just great things about Windows 10 right now. So thanks again, Mr. Gates, for getting that company.
Yeah, you and your white balls.
That's right. That's right.
Sparkling balls too, Tom.
You know?
So, in all seriousness, the software update, time-space continuum dilemma, we do recommend as tech pros and me loving Macs and Tom loving Macs as well. It's really, really critical that if you do download any updates, do it through the operating system and not through something that popped up on your Internet Explorer browser, right?
Spot on.
9 times out of 10, that's evil. Okay,
Yep.
Actually, I'd probably say 10 times out of 10, it's evil. The interesting thing about this particular scam is Adobe, especially to artists, people, and we build websites and all that and make graphics and whatnot. So Adobe is notorious for updating itself with something every damn day. So to us, we're like no strangers to saying, oh yeah, I gotta update the Adobe software. But I do it through the Adobe software, not through some pop-up that tells me that my Acrobat's out of date, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
So I think it's really critical too, if you're running a business, if you own a business, that you do allocate time to do these updates. You don't want to do them during the middle of the day. How many times have you downloaded one? And it happens with Mac, as amazing as they are. But it'll say, hey, guess what? As soon as you commit to it, this is going to take the next 2.5 hours of your life, and you're not going to be able to touch this computer.
Well, that's the beauty of technology, Tom, is that computers these days, both PC and Mac, can tell when you are going to go into a meeting
Sure.
or maybe a presentation in front of 500 people.
Right.
And now it is time to run updates.
It is right this second.
Exactly.
The best time to do this.
Exactly. It's almost like a printer knowing that when you really need something printed, it's going to jam for you.
Or
at
it's
that
out of
moment.
ink.
Exactly.
I got this damn printer back here with
Yeah.
like 5 cartridges that cost a gajillion dollars.
Yeah.
It's always out of yellow ink.
Yeah.
And guess what? This black and white document, it ain't printing. Somehow it uses yellow ink.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing.
Pisses
isn't
me
it?
off, Tom. It's horse shit.
Yeah, I tell you, well, that's why proper planning prevents piss poor performance.
I
Tom.
love that.
Yeah.
Say
Well,
that again, Tom.
well, the 7 P's of a good job. Well, that was prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance.
Or Peter
I thank Colonel Ivan Mead for that one.
Yeah.
He was the one who taught me that.
It's nice.
Yeah, but no, it's so that's why it's important that, as you say, if you see the pop-up for Adobe Acrobat update, restart the computer, open up Adobe Acrobat, go to the Help button at the top in the toolbar, and you'll see the area in there where you can run your updates. Much safer than ever trusting a pop-up. If you ever see a pop-up, for my most troubled users,
All PC users.
the in-laws, for my most troubled users, the ones that are infected the most,
Sure.
I always tell them, if you see anything pop up on your computer and it says, you're infected, reach down, hit the power button, and just turn off the computer.
Right.
You might lose some data that you might have just put into a Word document or entered into a website.
Or if they're doing their research on prunes and fiber.
They might have lost that link.
Right.
But the important thing is just to turn it off, and the fear is, well, I didn't think I could do that. I didn't think I could just turn a computer off. It's not good. Computers are smart enough these days to rebuild themselves and not become fragmented, which is what the problem was in the past.
The old defrag.
That's
I
right.
remember those
That's
days.
right. But it does that on the fly now. So on the Macs and the PCs, we can turn it off directly without fear of corrupting the operating system. Turn it back on, and the odds are that pop-up that just came up and said you're infected is gone, and there's actually no infection whatsoever. It was just scareware, as they call it, trying to scare the bejesus out of you.
Curse Blackistan.
Yeah, I tell you, those nefarious characters.
Tom, did you say that your Mac turns you on? Is that what you said?
My Mac? See, that's where I know that what you were saying was incorrect.
I've been having a little bit of congestion in my ears lately. I just hear things a little weird, so...
Apparently.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Honest mistake.
No. We are working with some Macs, though, and in
Wait,
these locations...
Wait. You're doing what?
we are supporting an organization that uses Macintosh devices.
Good people, huh?
Yeah, well, they're all good people, Tom.
All
Anybody
Mac
that-
users are good people,
Yeah,
yes.
well, let's just hope so, and not the nefarious characters in Mom's basement. But
Yeah.
those are usually on Linux.
So with the wife beaters.
Those are usually on Linux.
Yeah.
So they steer clear of both operating systems. But if you have an organization and it's not practical, and you've got too many problem people to make sure that the updates are happening frequently,
Right.
there is software out there that's in a full range of solutions that are available, from the Case solution that was formerly owned by Dell, now owned by Quest, to other SolarWinds solutions that are cheaper. But there's many things that you can do to keep track of all the devices in your organization to make sure that they're staying up to date, and that way alleviate those pop-ups coming up or those issues for your employees. So,
Tom, I have a
thought.
Power Pro Tech question for you.
Okay.
Is it always a good idea to update software? It's a loaded question. Tom.
Oh, see, now here comes the. I have a twofold answer on that.
Uh-huh.
And my first answer is yes. It's very important to keep your software up to date. But with that, not always the most current version.
I see.
So, prime example,
Yeah.
we updated Vista by Viewpoint this last weekend, which is a software, a financial software company. And so the organization that we were helping uses this software to maintain all their accounts payable, accounts receivable data. The issue was that it had fallen 2 versions behind, and now they couldn't do the W-2s and 1099s for their employees.
Well, that's a problem.
It certainly is, and at that point you've got a timeline when it has to get out legally.
Well, sure, if our government was open to handle it.
It is.
Sure.
And oh, by the way, and congratulations to all the government employees who just found out right before we started this podcast that the government is reopening and they're all going back to work.
That's
So
great news.
It is great news. There's a lot of people out there. And unfortunately, we're going to lose a few listeners, but Terry, Rodney, Doug, if all of you are listening, congratulations again on the government reopening and getting that mortgage paid.
Let's get it done.
Amen. So, but they had fallen 2 versions behind, and now they couldn't get those W-2s, 1099s out. And the problem was you can't go from one version, which is 2 versions behind, to the newest version.
Right.
So you have to take steps to get there. And you notice how I do that
I
this
do.
way now, because there's not just listeners on the microphone.
Yeah, we're
And
very
then-
visual now, too.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know what camera's looking
I
at you,
don't
but
know.
hey,
Yeah,
we're everywhere.
Yeah. So, so it's very important to stay up to date,
Right.
but not necessarily the most current version.
Right.
And that's with this software. Vista by Viewpoint offers the most 2 recent releases to be able to produce that 2018 data. So why not go to the most recent version, which is what one of the clients asked, is, well, why didn't you go to the latest? You stayed 1 version right behind. Do you want to be the person that finds out what all the problems are with the software?
No, sir, I do not.
That's the bleeding edge, as we call it. Not cutting edge, but beyond, and it's the bleeding edge.
It can be all kinds of ugly.
It is. It really can be, and it can lock up.
I mean,
and-
we're talking about that like growth on Aunt Gertrude's nose kind of ugly.
that thing that you just don't even want to look at. You're
Yeah.
trying not to acknowledge the elephant in the
I
room.
know, and the
Yeah.
pus comes out of it.
See, it's
It's
at
just
that point.
gross, and you're
Yeah.
like, Auntie, do you know that's there? I mean, have you tried taking it off?
It's equally as troublesome and grotesque.
It is.
It can be. So that's why we say don't be the people to find out what the bugs are in
Yeah.
the software. Let's let the other people who want to be on that bleeding edge find out, because usually it's only for a particular reason why that newest release came out. There's some feature set that you're missing and that you want to take advantage of. So unless you're missing something, I don't ever suggest to go to the latest version. But what are your thoughts on it?
Well, Tom, that's some sound advice. And
Yeah?
before I jump into that, you know what time it is?
Oh, is it time to jump into the sack?
It is time. Let me shuffle my
Okay.
mail sack official documentation.
All right. Well, who are we listening to from today?
Let's see. I'm digging into the sack. Aha. Andrea.
Okay.
Andrea from Boston.
All right.
She wants to know where to park the car, Tom.
Burr is all I have to
Yeah,
say to Andrea.
it's chilly.
Burr.
It's colder than it's cold.
Yeah.
It's super cold.
Yeah.
But Andrea, great question. So she's asking me about how to keep her WordPress website updated because she keeps logging in and keeps seeing all of these update. This, my friend, this can be a rabbit hole for sure. So let me tell you, Andrea, what's going on here, and I hope you're having some chowder today. Go Patriots. So listen, the thing with WordPress updates, you know, a lot of people are just tempted to clicky McClick pants that button and update everything.
Yep.
And I have seen several websites blow up just because somebody clicked that button. So a lot like you're saying, you've got to plan some of these things out. So some websites may have a plugin that takes care of Aunt Edna's pill dispensaries, right? Sends her a little reminder, tells her to clean the schmutz off of her nose. It's a great plugin.
Great plugin. We love those third-party apps.
We do. They're fabulous. But then there could be another plugin that's doing a contact form. There could be an SEO plugin. Not all plugins will play well with the core update. So I don't want to over-geek this, but my advice, Andrea from Boston, don't always click that update button. Ask a professional, because WordPress loves to sling out updates. It's great because they're trying to keep you safe.
Yeah.
It's open source software, so they're constantly trying to keep, you know, curse Blackistan out of your damn website. But I can tell you from experience, you really want to talk to a pro before you start updating all these things, because I've seen it happen a lot.
You're right, Tom, and that's great advice. And I equate it to when you're doing a software version update like we were doing with Vista by Viewpoint. You've really got to sit down and map out, okay, what, you know, and read through that documentation that nobody else wants to read through and figure out, what does this core update change?
Right.
What is its focus? And then off of that, those third-party apps that it's using, what versions do all of those have to be on as well? Because they all have to be similar. And then from there, the client application on the workstations, okay, well that has to be a new version as well. So it's the same thing with a website, I assume, that you've got to consider the core component, all the third tier, look at the core component, what it's changing as it updates, and then all the other third-party things, what they're changing as well, and make sure they're compliant with that. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
I mean, you're the guru when it comes to websites.
Absolutely. So, Andrea, listen, don't be clicking all over that thing, right? Let some pros talk about it. I know a lot of people don't like to go pay for this stuff. I understand that. I know, you know, we charge by the hour and sometimes, but we understand what works with what. And here's the other thing. We'll actually run it on the test server before we even deploy it live to make sure that it's going to function as should. Also, if it does break, we know how to fix it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the end game there. So, yeah.
And it's the same thing on a software update. I mean, this is something that a lot of people take on their own wing to try to hash out on their own and make it happen. But what can happen is, so it cost us an hour and a half of time for our time to plan this project out.
Right.
But if it had broken, if somebody just decided to update one thing and didn't realize the other components that all tie into it, that would cost more than an hour and a half of our time when your organization is down, your employees are sitting there with, you know, twiddling their thumbs.
Yeah, the damn twiddlers.
I tell you, well, we're standing around wondering when that computer guy is going to get the problem fixed.
Right.
You know, that now you're on the clock, it's an emergency call, there's many hours involved because you're trying to find out what somebody else did to break it. So again, prior proper planning,
Love it, Tom.
piss poor performance.
You are preaching, my friend. You are on fire today.
I feel that.
I think it's the cameras. It's the cameras, Tom. You're in the limelight.
You know, I don't know about it. It's the government, Tom. I'm just happy that both sides of the aisle have gotten us back to where I don't know the details. I don't know what happened, but all I know is we're back in business. So
like a Microsoft and an Apple partnership.
You know what? You think that's bad? That's nothing in comparison to what we see across the aisle. Huh?
Yeah.
I see Microsoft and Apple merging into one company before they'll get along.
I see that as a nightmare, Tom.
Yeah. Well, that certainly would corner the market, wouldn't it?
Oh, it'd certainly be something.
Yeah,
I think they call that monopoly, Tom.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and go straight to jail.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
So listen, Andrea, thank you so much for running into the mail sack. Tom, it's been a joy and a privilege today, my friend.
It has been, and it's I was going to go for the I can't even think of his name. The one who says I always feel like somebody's watching me.
Yeah.
I
think they are.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of our.
There they are.
Yeah. Geez, he scared himself over there.
Yeah.
But listen, we'll do the Facebook Live again. We're working on YouTube. It was giving us a little bit of a challenge. It was stumping the tech geeks. I'm not going to lie.
Well, what it stumped us is the time it takes to wait for things to propagate through the internet.
Must be running on a Windows server. It's going to take 24 hours to enable that. So
Amazon, AWS, Azure, it doesn't matter what it is. It's all Microsoft.
Edge. What the hell is Edge? So listen, we covered a lot of ground here, folks. Today we talked about nefarious pop-up buttons. Don't click those damn things. You want to stay away from those folks in Kyrgyzstan who want to take over your computer. Tom invoked some wisdom and departed and gave you some amazing wisdom about how to plan software updates for your business. We talked about taking Aunt Bob for a walk.
That's
he loves
right.
those walks.
And importantly, if you're working with WordPress sites, don't just click those third-party apps to update. And then, because if you break your website, it's going to cost you a little bit more money than it did to just.
I got to charge you for it. I'm sorry.
So again,
kids
got to eat.
Yeah, I got Macs to buy. I've got iPads, and I actually stole my daughter's iPad Mini, which is running part of the show today. So I mean, Keegan's got to eat. He's got his Barry Manilow CDs. He's got to purchase.
Somebody's got to keep Barry in business.
Amen, man.
Not just the Vegas listeners.
So Tom,
kudos,
we did it.
Yep.
Wrapped up another show.
That's right. Well,
where can folks find you and learn more about what you can do to keep their software running like a top?
That's
Tom?
right. You can find us at advancedsystemssolutions.com and all kinds of interesting tidbits there on keeping your systems up to date.
And so, checking out Tom's ass.
That's right. That's right. And how about yourself?
You can find more about me at ontargetdigitalmarketing.com, where we'd love to help market your website, keep it clean, keep it running smooth, and teach you about all kinds of tech geek stuff.
Maybe get you a podcast going.
We could do that.
Grandma would be proud.
Grandma would be delighted, Tom.
I think that would make for a great ad.
We should do that.
You know what? Stick around, Tom. I got some other good ideas.
You're the best.
We'll talk about those soon.
Hey, folks, have a great Friday. We'll talk to you real soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.